Hello, Jonathan Bowman-Perks, and welcome back to my favourite time of the week. And this is where I'm once again sharing the knowledge and wisdom that people have very kindly taught me, and I want to pass on to you some skills, tips and techniques. That is not what I call humble bragging by some people on LinkedIn, which my friend Professor Roger Steare quite rightly points out is how a lot of social media has become. Oh, I've just conquered Everest, and here I was at the prize giving and I've received the first prize for being a wonderful person. I think it needs to be more than that. LinkedIn needs to be where you give something and you get something. So the story this week is about, I've been listening to the book Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. I've both been hearing some of his podcasts in the morning when I was doing my workouts with Pep Talk, which again is another good app I recommend to you. And I heard him there, so I then got his book, Can't Hurt Me, which he had a shadow author who does almost like a podcast video chat with him on the call. Incredible story this guy has done. He began as went for US Navy SEAL. He had to do 3 times. He had to do this Hell Week, which is nothing short of abuse that they get put through in the waves and rolled on the sand and just having to do physical exercise after physical exercise. And then he went on to be doing ultra marathons. Then it turns out he had a hole in his heart. He'd been training all this time with a hole in his heart. And then finally he does Ranger selection and does pass that, but he then goes on to Delta. And the first time before he has the hole in the heart diagnosed, he has to go back to it again a second time, almost makes it, but gets complacent and sees himself winning it and finishing all when actually he got lost on his navigation and was guessing too early that he was going to get it. It was almost the pride before the fall. And I don't know about yourself, but I know there's been a number of occasions when I got quite smug with myself and how I'm doing, and then I come badly unstuck. So I think it's always important to have that combination of courage, of humility, and then of the discipline of seeing things through. So what's your discipline like? What's your courage like? And what's your humility like? I've, in 9 weeks' time, got a triathlon coming up. And some of you who know me, I've done one of these a year. When I was 52, I started, and I'm going to carry on until I'm 62 if I'm still in good health. And every year raising money for my wife's charity, the Inspiring Leadership Trust for Vulnerable Young Women. So if you want to back something that does good for others, please go on to the Inspiring Leadership Trust website and sponsor me as I do this triathlon. So getting back into fitness, I was in the gym the other day and I was listening on my audio, my AirPods, to David Goggins and this phenomenal ordeal that he went through. I mean, he even did SEAL training with broken legs. He had fractures in his legs. He taped up his legs to keep going. Now, that's a bit damn stupid, but the fact was the guy went through it. Incredible ability to endure pain. And I think back to some of the training that I did for P Company and para selection, where I had some agonizing blisters. I don't think I was as hardy as David Goggins, but I know I wasn't. And I was in such excruciating pain, and remember lancing the blisters with a large sewing needle, and then squeezing the fluid out, and then putting potassium permanganate into the hollow area. God, sent my pain threshold through the roof, but it allowed me to finish this crazy thing that I did. So listening to David Goggins, and he was talking about the fact that you and I, we have incredible ability to go way beyond what we think is our limit. And do you have a quitter's mind or do you have a learner's mind? Are you prepared to learn from it? And on those many occasions during the day, in anything that you're doing, there are those simple moments when you want to quit. It maybe you've been thinking about it for quite a long time, but it's normally just about a second of time when you give up and you quit. And so I set myself out to do 5K on the treadmill. It's not difficult for many of us to do 5K on a treadmill, about half an hour's worth of running, about 10 kilometers an hour. And as I was listening to this podcast about him pushing himself beyond it and all the time just trying to each week do 10% more, I thought, I'll do 10K, not 5K on the machine. But then you get to 3 kilometers and you think, oh, well, no one else knows that I said I was going to do 10K. Perhaps I'll just stop at 5K. In fact, maybe I'll stop at 4K. But then this other voice comes in. It's almost like little, I visualize them like little sort of devil on one shoulder and a little sort of motivator, Mr. Motivator on the other shoulder. And it was going, no, come on, you can do it. You said you can do it. No one's here. No one will know, but you will know. So keep going. So I got to 5 kilometers and I thought, right, I'll ramp it up. I'll do 12 kilometers an hour, not 10 kilometers an hour, which doesn't sound like a big difference. But when you're tired after half an hour's worth of running, for the next slightly less than half an hour, to do it at 12 kilometers an hour, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just do it for 1 kilometer after a while. The brain was going, I can quit. I can just go down to 10 or 8 because I've done 12. But then the voice goes, no, stay at 12. And so I got through 6 and then 7. I thought 7, I'm really tired now. And it's early in the morning and maybe I could give up. But no, keep going. And so sure enough, got through it, did the 10K. I must admit, pretty exhausted. Lay on the floor for a while, coughing. But feeling great sense of achievement. And I just think for yourself, have you a quitter's mind or have you a learner's mind, a success mind? There's going to be many things in your life where you feel like giving up. So if you like the blog and you like the blogs, please give it a thumbs up. Drop a story of where you've had a difficult challenge. It could be physical, it could be a job challenge, it could be going for something you've been rejected many times, but you tried again. Share the story with us. Let us know. And good luck in having that learner's mind rather than the quitter's mind.